Stop. Don't scroll. This moment is not random. This message is not an accident. Right now, God is standing at your door. God says, I am at your door right now. Let me in. You've been waiting for a sign, asking quietly, sometimes with hope, sometimes with tears. God, are you still with me? Listen carefully. This video is your answer. God says, I have been knocking patiently, not to scare you, not to pressure you, but to remind you that I never left. You didn't lose your way in one day. Pain slowly closed the door. Disappointment locked it. Fear stood guard in front of it. But God says, even when the door closed, I stayed right there. You didn't come here by accident. Your heart was ready, even if your mind was full of doubt. God says, I guided you here. You've been strong for everyone else, smiling when people were watching, breaking quietly when no one saw. God says, I see the strength you never talk about. I see the battles you fight alone. You thought silence meant abandonment. But God says, no, silence was preparation. Stay here. Don't scroll away. God says, I know the questions you were afraid to ask. I know the pain you never explained. You wondered why it took so long, why the answers didn't come sooner, why the hurt stayed longer than expected. God says, because what I am building in you must be strong enough to last. Not one tear was wasted. Not one delay was meaningless. God says, I was shaping you, not punishing you. When you open the door, God says, I don't come empty-handed. I bring peace into chaos. I bring clarity into confusion. I bring strength into weakness. You may not change overnight, but you will never walk alone again. God says, I will guide your steps, even when the path looks unclear. This is not the end of your story. God says, what tried to break you actually prepared you. You are stronger than you realize, calmer than before, wiser than yesterday. God says, I am opening doors no one can close. Even when you felt forgotten, God says, my eyes were always on you. I protected you from things you never even noticed. Fear has spoken loudly for too long. God says, that fear is not your future. I am replacing anxiety with peace, confusion with clarity, restlessness with calm. God says, let me carry what is too heavy for you. What you lost will not define you. God says, you did not lose your purpose. I am restoring you in ways you don't expect. The waiting season was not punishment. It was preparation. God says, what's coming needs the stronger version of you. I heard the prayer you whispered when no one else was listening. God says, no prayer spoken from the heart is ever ignored. You are not late. You are not behind. God says, I delayed nothing that would harm you. I am healing the pain you learned to hide. God says, you don't have to pretend with me. You don't have to be perfect. Even now, God says, I am holding you. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to have every answer. God says, lean on me. I will not let you fall. This waiting you are in is not empty. God says, this waiting is not wasted. While you wait, I am aligning things you cannot see. I am protecting you from paths that would have hurt you later. What feels slow to you is still progress in my hands. God says, I know today feels heavy. Feeling weak does not mean failure. It means you are human. God says, my strength works best when you feel weak. I am clearing the way ahead of you. God says, obstacles you never noticed are being removed. Confusion will turn into clarity. Closed doors will stop frustrating you. God says, walk forward. I am already ahead of you. Do not doubt yourself. God says, I did not forget you. Not after mistakes. Not after delays. Not after moments you felt unworthy. God says, you are still chosen. You are still loved. Your past did not cancel your purpose. It prepared you for it. Now breathe. God says, rest. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything. God says, I am in control. What is meant for you will reach you at the right time. I am still at your door. I have not walked away. I have not given up. The handle is on your side. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to this channel because these messages are here to strengthen you every single day. You were never meant to walk alone.